And you have this document.
I saw the document. I have the document. Your
Are you,
agenda.
would you be willing to read an email?
Oh God, you're scaring me. Yes. What page of this extensive document is
We're
this
on the
email
E
on?
prime one, right above the
Oh God.
pictures of those random characters that don't make any sense to me. Well, Nathan will have to
Okay.
expound.
This is from Demon Subscriber Greg with the
Yeah.
Wikipedia link.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. E prime, short for English prime or English prime. I'm learning something today. Sometimes denoted E, or E, okay, is a version of the English language that excludes all forms of the verb to be. So basically it's like Hebrew. There's no is, there's no to be. Okay, including all conjugations, contractions, and archaic forms. And then there's like, yeah, I don't know. What? What's the point of this?
Yeah, what is this, Nathan? Did you put this in here?
We got an email about it. I can't. It might have been one
Okay.
of the students in the class,
Mhm.
in the Demon Live class, gave us this link. One of the frequent writing tips that we give is to watch out for passive construction. Passive construction when you use is, was, were. So instead of using an active verb, you're just saying blank is blank, or this was that, or this, were, whatever. What you're doing is you're relying too heavily on one verb, which is to be, and instead of using more active language. And it's a real easy writing tip, to
It's a
just,
trap.
you can sort of like control F and look for is and was and were and all of the forms of the verb to be.
Oh,
There's a lot of I was. I read a lot in personal statement first drafts. I was. I think that this is a good thing to watch out for, but I want to make sure that people don't take this and think they should never, they should avoid all uses of to be, right?
Yeah.
This is not meant to be an extreme, but I think this is a good writing tip at practice, right? And I always use the control F and say, how many times, I feel like I just read that word in this essay. How many times did I just read I was, or how many times did I just read I did? How many times did I just read the word, oh gosh, I get, there's some that I get all the time in school essays, why the school essay, people use the same word program or experience, like, and I'll do a find and replace, like highlight. How many times did they use the word experience or opportunity in this essay? And it'll be like 4 times. And those kinds of, this is a good exercise of that, but also just generally to be very cognizant of word choice. You can repeat a word, but if it's a distinctive word, you have to be very careful with it.
Yes. The basic writing tip is just to try to use active verbs instead of being so damn passive.
So give everyone an example, Nathan. Give someone an example instead of, tell them what a better verb would be rather than I. Yeah.
Well, on this Wikipedia page, there's a couple examples here where it's saying predication. So if you're going to say like the cat is furry, I think this is the worst example.
The furry
actually.
Cat something.
Well, you could have told that story in a different way. I mean, all you're doing now is you're telling me that this is that, I am whatever. And that's just straight telling when they could be showing. So instead of just using is to describe yourself, or I am to describe yourself, instead you could show me doing something, show yourself doing something, so that I can reach that conclusion myself. Like, just when we have I am adjective, no one's going to believe that, because you have to demonstrate it.
Well, let's go. That's a great point. So let's go back to okay. So this E prime thing is like a very specific example of this, but really what we're talking about is that thing I always tell everyone about how you want to avoid conclusive statements and rather provide facts to prove the conclusion, right? And that's how you get through law school and a legal profession as well, right? So this is the same thing as that. Rely on facts. It's more credible. It's more interesting. Rather than saying I developed work ethic, you say by having to catch the 5 a.m. train to get to my internship, and you're showing work ethic, right? Yeah. So it's the same principle. It's just not as overwhelming with as fancy a name. So you always want to use facts to get the reader interested and credibility reasons. And there's very little reason to have conclusive statements. For example, I was just working with a client on his personal statement, and I felt like 4 times in the essay, he made a point of saying my experience in real estate led me to become interested in law. Well, if you're giving the example for what issues in real estate you encounter that are legal, you don't need to say the rest. Use every word wisely. And that is, you know, you get what, 2 pages double spaced at most schools. Use every word wisely. This is what lawyers do. They use words wisely. I'd rather, you know, one of my clients likes to write letters of continuing interest that are 6 pages long. I'm exaggerating. I have to tell him, my challenge to you is to do this in 2 paragraphs. If you can't do it in 2 paragraphs, it's crap. It means you have nothing to say. You can say almost anything in 2 paragraphs.
I think that real estate example that you gave is good, where if he would have just talked about the relevant experiences, just shown himself doing the relevant things, the reader's not an idiot. The reader's gonna reach that same conclusion without
Right.
him saying, my experiences in real estate therefore have led me to want to practice. Like, why do people have to robotically in the the last paragraph of their personal statement always say, and I am therefore applying to law school, you know? These are
Oh my
the
God.
reasons why I now
Oh my
am
God.
applying. What?
Kill me now.
Yeah.
Kill me now. Yeah. If we don't know that by the time we get to the conclusion, you have not written a very effective personal statement.